Hi, I'm Thaina. I'm a clinical sexologist and I work with individuals, couples, and folks in non-monogamous relationships who want to bring ease and pleasure into their lives. That may look a little bit different for everybody, but we mainly focus on stress regulation, communication, and pleasure skills. Sometimes you just need to have a space where we can say things out loud, get unstuck from going in circles, getting stuck in the same conversation over and over again. Sometimes we need a little bit of creative problem solving, seeing what the context is, what you have tried, what's the history, how things have changed. If there's something in your life that has changed recently, we can start to see patterns and start to see are there some easy, quick fixes like using lube, planning a little bit ahead so we can change the sheets so you don't get distracted and things like that. But there are times that there may be things that are more rooted in our history or society or culture, what we have learned from movies, or even the things that we were not allowed to say. Because very often, when it comes to relationships and our bodies, these topics become things that are hush hush. We don't really feel comfortable sharing that with other people. We don't really have spaces where we can have these discussions. It becomes this great secret that grows and grows and grows in shame and roots itself, and shame thrives in secrecy. So sometimes having a secret can be thrilling, but very often the people that see me just haven't had the space where they can talk about this, even find yourself feeling this way, even just listening to this conversation, feeling that discomfort, feeling like this is completely out of your day to day, what you're used to talking, thinking about. I feel like very often we just need to lean in. We just need to bathe in that discomfort and understand what is coming from, what is trying to protect us from. And then later, maybe learning to adjust the volumes of those voices. Once we know where they are, when they're trying to tell us, we can say, okay, but maybe you are not the driver right now. Maybe you just stayed in the back seat. I'm the one driving and I make choices that align with me today. You are the only one that knows what's right for your body, for your relationships, for your life. So take what works for you, leave what doesn't. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or things you would like to add. I talk to anybody at any age. Your breath is your greatest tool that can help you regulate your nervous system, improve blood flow as you breathe in, your pelvic floor expand and then retract. And you can even feel that right now if you pay a little bit of attention and that's something comfortable for you at this time. When we use our breath in that way, we can use it in conversations. We can use it when we're actually trying to get sexy. We're trying to do our stuff. When we're trying to get out of our heads and into our body, our breath is really our most amazing tool for many, many things. And it's amazing because you have it always with you. You don't need to plan ahead. As long as you're breathing, there's more right with you than there is wrong. You always have that tool available to you. It gives you so much control over what's happening in your body and the state of your mind. It helps you ground yourself in the moment because the breath can only happen right now. The second thing I wish people were focusing on is moving from how things look like to how things feel like. Very often, and this is one of the many misconceptions we may have about sex, is that sex are things we do. Sex are activities. And sex is this box apart from everyday life. I may ask my clients, how does your day-to-day look like? When you're stressed, how does that look like? When you're resting, what does that look like? Your time together. We explore different things that may not typically be associated with sex. But sex is really a place you go within yourself. Sometimes other people join you. When we start to see it in that way, we can turn our attention inwards and move away from this concept of being sexy, being attached to how we look, to our age. A lot of it that comes mainly with how our bodies look like, how we sound like, and how we are perceived by others, and rather being rooted in how we are feeling, having that connection to our God. There's many reasons why we may feel disconnected. I may not feel safe to just drop into how the body feels and let that guide us. That is why the third one will be to focus on pleasure. When I say pleasure, I'm not just talking about sex. Yes, sex should be pleasurable. And if it's not, I'm happy to help you explore what is happening, what can we do. But I'm talking about life in general. We talk very often about triggers. We don't talk as often about glimmers, about learning to savor, to slow down, to appreciate the little things around us. Or maybe sexual pleasure may not be accessible for whatever reason, but eating a really good meal can feel pleasurable. Just feeling the warmth of the sun or even cold water after a walk outside in the 40, the heat, wherever you are. There are many little ways you can start cultivating that. If you try to see your sexuality as a garden, you get to pick what flowers you have there. You get to pick style of your garden, but maybe you have a lot of weeds that are not yours. It's a lot of work of, oops, that's not mine. And giving it food, cultivating pleasure in our lives. It's a big part of cultivating a happy, healthy, yummy sex life.